this week's chapter of One Piece, Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates are heading to Whole Cake Island to save Sanji and to do battle with the diabetic queen of deliciousness, Big Mom. We also get to see the grand return of the Sushi Kabuki, the master of marine martial arts, Jinbe.
Wow, Corey, that was some awesome alliteration, man.
I know.
You must have practiced that shit.
I got to bed around 2:30.
Family Guy. Okay, guys, so this chapter really does come down to just two things. You got Big Mom freaking out. You got Jinbe, actually three things. You got Jinbe coming along, and then you have the Straw Hats moving their way to get Sanji. Mm-hmm. Not much happens on the Straw Hat front, in my opinion.
Not really. Just a lot of goofing around. Luffy saying that he's going to get back into the kitchen, which is a terrible decision. Yeah, Nami definitely reminds him of that.
He could make a great omelet, because he would just throw a lot of eggs and everything else in with it. But as far as everything else, he's not really
Fuck that. I wouldn't even trust Luffy with an omelet, to be perfectly honest.
Well, he's good. He's good at grilling. He can cook meat over a fire.
That's about it, yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But you can't have an open flame on a ship, so they can't do it like that. But let's get back to the Big Mom stuff. Mm-hmm. So, Big Mom is freaking out because she wants cream puffs, or something along those lines.
She wants a croquant boucher, which is a French dessert.
I was about to say, it sounds French.
Yeah.
So, it's a French dessert that's all puffy.
Yeah.
And
it's like a big tower of cream puffs.
And she just won't be happy unless it has a face on it. We should talk about the faces.
Yeah.
One Piece is really pushing the faces on everything in these islands. Like, obviously, Big Mom either brought these things to life somehow, which is also kind of revealed because she can steal life force from people, or...
Which is to assume she might be able to imbue life force into things.
She's like, I've been watching a lot of Full Metal Alchemist. She's like, installing souls in inanimate objects. Kind of like that. Maybe, because we actually still don't really know, right? Like, it's kind of assumed. We're now just, like, putting the pieces together. So one of her son gets involved, and he's like, Mom, stop freaking out. We'll fix this. Just give us 30 minutes. And then she's like, give me your soul. Or your soul is mine. Yeah. And then, she, like, sucks it out.
She just Shang Tsung's him to death by pulling out his life force, which kind of looks like all this, like, weird goo that she can actually, like, take away from people's body. Mm-hmm. So she clearly has the ability to either extend people's life or give lives to inanimate objects. That's why we see all of these crazy things with faces. While she's going around the kingdom just freaking out, she's grabbing everything in sight and just eating it. And it's horrifying seeing like these cakes and pies and pineapples with faces, which are just getting destroyed by her. They even get a shot of inside of her mouth with like the weird things that are being eaten. And despite the fact that they are being chomped down on, they're like, well, as long as we're delicious, that's okay. So I'm guessing that the inanimate objects don't really feel any particular pain, but the humans are probably going to feel it, especially considering that she just killed her son, the Minister of Gelato, without even thinking about it.
It's pretty much Attack on Titan. If you really broke it down, it'd be like Attack on Titan. There's this big, ugly woman Titan, and she's coming in eating all the candy.
She does look
kind
of Titan-esque, doesn't she?
Yeah, she has a weird sort of expression face. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, so then there's that stuff happening, but the big reveal has got to be Jinbe at the end.
Yes.
And he's part of Big Mom's crew, and it makes sense.
Crazy. Not only did he deliver a poneglyph to her for reasons that are still completely unknown, but he was actually able to satiate her hunger by bringing in the croquant boucher and shoving it right down her gullet. It's really strange, but you know what? I'm excited. Jinbe is one of my favorite characters. He's finally returning, and this is also a great answer as to what was happening a couple of chapters ago where Sanji and their crew, or actually Luffy met Sanji's brother and sister, and you saw that one fishman who was hanging out underwater. He was actually talking to Jinbe that entire time. So something else is going on with Jinbe and his organization, and basically one of two things I think are going to happen at the end of this arc. Jinbe is either going to die, or he's going to officially join the Straw Hat crew. I really hope it's option B. I've been waiting for this character to join the crew. He's incredibly unique. They'll have a Fishman member on the crew who's super powerful and has ties to a lot of classic characters and seems to have a lot of respect and honor towards Luffy as well. So it'd be the perfect combination. But still, this was a ridiculous chapter right here.
Yeah, every time we find out more about Big Mom, the craziness ramps up and up and up. So, I'm actually enjoying her as a villain. And also, she's a bad person, probably. She's probably done bad things, but she still doesn't feel like a pure evil person like a Doflamingo kind of character. So I'm kind of excited to see her develop, because in the beginning I was like, oh, her gimmick is she eats things, you know? But now there's kind of more to it than that, and I'm kind of excited to see where this goes.
Now, to be fair, she did kill her son in this chapter, but...
He was asking for it. He got in the way of the creme brulees, and, you know, he's gone.
You mess with the bull, you get the horns, and that's basically what happened in this chapter. The thing about Big Mom is, though, she has a lot of sons and daughters, so she has a lot to go around, and she doesn't really seem to have any problem in pumping them out either, so can't wait to see how that's going to go down in the future. Maybe we'll actually get to see the husband of Big Mom, or maybe one of the many husbands. But still, it's amazing that anyone would even want to live in this kingdom, considering that she basically will just destroy it any time she goes through a mood swing or she's incredibly hungry. There were a lot of scenes her in this chapter that were just frankly insane. Like, her eyes are completely twirly, climbing up to the top of buildings and destroying things like she's goddamn King Kong. This chick is crazy. One of the weirdest villains that I've seen from the One Piece series. She kind of reminds me of, like, a female version of Wapole.
Well, what about if, like, the chapter, this arc comes to, like, instead of a battle, because it could easily go to a battle, you know,
Yeah.
Luffy going, you know, one of his more powerful modes that we've just seen, you know, punching her in the face. That's easy. But what about if they had, like, an eating competition instead?
I can see that happening.
That would be a cooler fight.
That would be hilarious. I mean, can you really... Because think about it. How many, like, female villains has Luffy fought against? Wouldn't that be kind of weird to see, you know, Luffy coming up and doing, like, a big Gumma Gumma attack and punching a woman in the face?
He's obviously a white, cisgender male that needs to check his privilege. Anyway, the point
That's
is,
for all the millennials out there!
Luffy can't just defeat everyone.
No.
He has to. The other thing he's really good at is making friends.
Yeah.
So
And food's involved.
Yeah, so this has all the right elements. If everyone can end on a happy note, Big Mom gets some treats and whatnot, Luffy beats her in an eating contest. That's also something that literally just popped in my head as we were doing the review. I was like, what about if that's sort of the ending to this arc? And they get to read the poneglyph, and then they go on their way. You know, and they have one of
Gain a huge ally in
Yeah.
Big Mom. Maybe even getting to stop this whole wedding thing.
literally huge.
But that's the thing. I don't think Big Mom is going to be too happy about the fact that she's had this wedding planned out. And we have to remember, too, the whole point of this wedding is not so that her daughter can be happy. It's so that they can have a better connection with the Vinsmoke family. They're trying to start, like, a partnership with them. And I have a feeling she doesn't want that to be stopped. So that's where I think a lot of the conflict is going to come from when Luffy comes in. But the fact that they might have an eating competition, that is a really clever idea. And I think that would be really, really funny. And it'd still be really creepy to see Luffy eating a lot of things that have faces on them. But, I don't know, something about that's really fucking weird to me. It's just strange. And there's other little parts of this chapter that are still worth mentioning. Something they've been building up over the last couple of chapters is that one Mink Tribe member by the name of Pedro. They keep just saying that, you've been here before, you have some history here, and he never seems to want to get into it quite yet. So Pedro's probably going to be a pretty important character in this arc, along with Carrot as well. But there's also a lot of other, like, random characters who appear in this chapter. We might have actually seen some more of the other sons and daughters of Big Mom who all look really ridiculous. There's another Mink Tribe member who appears in this chapter who's basically an alligator wearing a suit. This is, without a doubt, one of the weirdest arcs of One Piece, and that's saying a lot, because we just got done with Dressrosa where people were freaking toys. So this one is really running the gamut for weirdness, but honestly, I kind of expect that from One Piece at this point.
Where do you even take it from here?
Exactly. I mean, it's going to be really hard to top all of the strangeness that is going on here. And it's refreshing to finally see Big Mom in full light and just seeing her in all of her ridiculous glory. She's one of the craziest villains that I've seen from the series, and to have, like, a main female villain like that, I think is going to be a really big deal. I can't wait to see how they're going to wrap it up.
Yeah, it's going to be good. The other thing I also thought about, think about this, guys, just had another theory. What about if Big Mom's actually really old, and the reason she's had so many kids is because she's lived such a really long life, because she's absorbed so much life force from other beings, so she can, like, stay alive for a long time. So there's also something that I'm just really excited to see what her powers are actually about.
Yeah.
You know, because, okay, she likes eating. Cool. What's her devil fruit power? What's going on there? Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. We really appreciate it. Make sure and slap the thumbs up button if you can on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and also check out the ways you can support the channel in the video description below, like PayPal and our Amazon link and stuff like that, if you want. And also check out our podcast, The Powerful Nerdcast. It's awesome. We do it once a week. We talk about things a lot like this, but we go for about an hour. So thanks, guys, for watching, and until next time, Super Kami Guru 9000 is out, baby.